Hello everyone. So today is Alphabet Tuesday. We're going to use that Play-Doh that we made yesterday to make some alphabet shapes. We're going to focus on D, E, and F. But before we even do that, I want to read a book about 5 busy honeybees. So yesterday I read a bee book. Today I'm reading a bee book because bees are so important. They pollinate all our flowers. They bring the pollen from one flower to the next, which is why the flowers become so beautiful. So this is a fun, cute little story about facts about honeybees. Honeybees make honey. So I'm going to learn a couple things too after reading this book. It's a little bit longer, so we're not going to do a movement activity, but I'm sure you're going to find this very interesting. The long cold winter is over and the bright spring sunshine begins to warm the home of 5 little honeybees. The sweet-smelling flowers outside cause the 5 little honeybees to dance with excitement. I also was dancing with excitement when the sun was coming up more often and it's warmer. The traditional dome-shaped beehive, called a skep, was replaced by the wooden box beehive with removable honey frames in the mid-1800s. However, the timeless skep remains a symbol of the beehive. So this dome shape is called a skep. So can you say skep? So if you see that outside, you can be like, oh, look, a skep. Inside the hive, their mother, the queen bee, declares it's springtime. The flowers are blooming, and you know what that means. Now get busy, my 5 little honeybees. The 5 little honeybees quickly got to work. Each bee knows what she must do to make delicious honey. So the queen is in charge, and they send all of these little worker bees out into the world to pollinate and bring back wonderful nectar to become honey. The first little honeybee quickly flies out the door and searches for the blossoms with the sweetest nectar. She will carry the nectar back to the hive where it will be turned into honey. Honeybees are attracted to blossoms containing the sweetest nectar rather than the brightest colors. While on nectar-rich blossoms, she sucks the nectar through her tube-like tongue and fills her special honey stomach. So bees have a little tongue that sucks all that sweet nectar, and it goes into their honey stomach. So in their little stomach, it's called honey stomach. And then she returns to the hive where the nectar will be transferred to other worker bees who will add enzymes to the nectar until it is suitable for storage as honey. The second little honeybee also quickly flies out of the hive, but she is in search of the blossoms with the richest yellow pollen. She will load her pollen basket to be so heavy that she can barely fly back to the hive. Honeybees have special pollen baskets on their back pair of legs. Pollen is loaded into these baskets and carried back to the hive to be deposited into the cells. So I know this cute little image, they're having baskets around their neck. So they're not really there. So if you lift up your back legs, they have little baskets on the back of their little legs that are called pollen baskets. So the pollen sticks to their legs and they bring it back to their hive. Back at the hive, the second honeybee will place the pollen into the wax cells to be used as food for the growing baby bees. After filling their baskets with pollen, the pollen is delivered to the hive and stored in cells near the developing baby bees' larvae. The pollen is the primary source of protein for the developing babies. So it's kind of hard to see, but this is called a honeycomb. This is where they put all their nectar and their pollen. The third little honeybee follows her sisters out the door. However, she's not searching for nectar or pollen. She is looking for cool, clear water. She will carry the water back to the hive to be shared with her sisters and to help keep the hive cool during the hot summer days. So even honeybees need water. The fourth little honeybee stays inside the hive to help her mother, the queen. The queen will be laying many eggs every day, so there can be new bees to help with the work of the hive. The fourth little bee will feed the pollen to the growing baby bees. She also helps to keep the hive clean and neat. So you can see that there's the fourth little bee. She's taking care of all the little baby bees. fifth little honeybee will also stay at home. She is stronger than her sisters, so she will stand by the door to make sure no unwanted creatures get into the hive and steal their precious honey. While she stands guard, she will fan her wings to blow air through the hive to keep it cool. Can you imagine flapping your wings that fast to keep you nice and cool? You can go like this and it will create wind, but think about how fast these wings are going. From sunup to sundown, the 5 little bees work tirelessly to fill their hive with honey. When the summer is over and the leaves start to fall, the 5 little bees share their honey with their friend, the beekeeper. The beekeeper will be sure to leave enough honey in the hive to last the hungry bees through winter. So that's pretty cool. So if you ever see someone wearing this suit, they're harvesting all that honey. They're called beekeepers. The beekeeper carefully takes the honey out of the honeycomb. He fills many jars with honey and returns the empty honeycomb to the beehive. The bees are excited for spring so they can start working again. So the process of removing the honey from the comb is called extracting. So you're taking things out. That's what extracting is. But for now, it is time to rest. During the cold winter months, bees will cluster tightly together and create a vibrating motion to generate the heat necessary to maintain the temperature inside the hive. So if they're sleeping through winter, that's that big word that we learned this year, hibernating. So that's a fun. Bees are unbelievable. I think so too. So it says honeybees are the only insects that produce food for humans. Honey is the only food that includes all the substances necessary to sustain life, including water. Well, some other facts are cool. A single bee will produce only 1/12 teaspoon of honey in her lifetime. So bees are such cool insects. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures that I printed out of bees that are pretty cool. So there's a difference between bumblebees and honeybees and different type of bees. Alright, so the first picture I'm going to show you, it's kind of not as clear as I would like, but on this side is the honeybee, so it has it's thinner, and then on this side is the bumblebee. So they are fuzzier than the honeybee. So that's one of the pictures. I'm going to show you. So here's a picture. This is a honey storage cell. So on the top is a honeybee. The biggest bee is the queen bee, and all of these are the worker bees. So they are on the honeycomb, bringing all that nectar back, so it's stored and becomes honey. On the bottom, you can see that the big one right there is the queen bumblebee, and those are all the worker bees. And some of these cells are that nursery cell where they keep their babies. Here is the largest bee in the world compared to what we normally see, which is this tiny guy. Can you imagine going outside and seeing that big of a bee? I would run and hide. Here's my big bee diagram. So a bee has a head. This middle section that the wings are kind of covering is called the thorax. And this bottom, where the stinger is the abdomen. And they have 6 legs, 2 pairs of wings, and an antenna. So there you have is a bee body and their parts. Here's a picture of the nursery cells again. So you can see in here the babies are growing. So there's different stages. These one look like it's early on, and this one looks like it's about to pop out and start being a worker bee. So that's pretty cool. So that's about all the pictures. Actually, I have this. You can see that right here is their pollen basket. So it's on their back legs, and all that pollen is getting stuck. So if you think about using see if I can find. So think of these warm fuzzies as pollen. So if I'm a bee and I stop at a flower and they're grabbing that pollen and it sticks on their back legs. So some of the pollens, they're going to go to another flower and that pollen is going to fall on that flower. And then that flower is going to be pollinated and become really beautiful. So it's just a process of a bee grabbing that pollen and going to a next flower. So it's really cool. Bees are so important. So I have all these pictures. I just find them very fascinating. So now, here's one last picture. Bees on flower grabbing all that nectar or pollen and bringing it back to their hive. So now we'll get into our Alphabet Tuesday. You grab your Play-Doh. You can start squishing it if it kind of dried out a little bit. Also get your hands ready for the activity. While you're doing that, I want your parents to grab a couple pieces of paper. We're only working on 3 different letters, D, E, and F. So you're going to grab 3 pieces of paper. 1, 2, 3. You're going to write the upper and lowercase letter on 1. So the first one we're doing is D. This, we have the upper and the lowercase. You're going to grab the Play-Doh and you're going to grab a chunk and we're going to roll it like this to make that really long part of the D. And it's okay if you mess up. I think it's just as important to use the Play-Doh and squishing it to get your hands really much stronger so you can hold a pencil and write your name. So I'm going to roll it. It's going to be long like that. I'm going to see if I can put it down like this while I'm doing it. So I have my D. I have that long first part. And then you're going to make, so first, when you're writing it, you go down. And then we're going to make that rounded area. So roll it again, make a little snake. Then you're going to connect. And I have my nice D. Now we're going to do our lowercase d. So first you do the small circle part, and then you're going to go up and down. So first we'll grab another chunk of that Play-Doh, roll it like a snake, grab another piece, make that long, you're going to do it there, and then you're going to connect it, and you have a uppercase D and a lowercase d. Now you're going to take the Play-Doh, put it back on your plate. I'm going to put the D off to the side. Then we're going to do the letter E. So write the uppercase letter and then your lowercase. So we'll start with the uppercase. Where first with any uppercase, you start at the top and we're going to make the down first. So grab a piece. He has to be in absolutely everything I'm doing. So keep rolling it till you get a long piece, and we're going to put it along there. Then you go back up to the top and you're going to do the top across. You can grab a small piece, you can connect it, grab another one, do middle across, and the bottom across. So we have the uppercase E, now we're going to do the lowercase e. So with E, you're going to start right in this middle, and we're going to go horizontally across. So grab that Play-Doh, go here first, then you're going to do that last loop. So you can probably just grab one big piece of Play-Doh, snake it, roll it with your hand. Oop, mine disconnected, so put it back. And there you go. That is our upper and lowercase e. Again, take it off. Some of it's probably going to stick on your paper. That's okay. And our last letter, F. So take that piece of paper, do the uppercase F, and then the lowercase f. So again, with this one, it's kind of like the E without that bottom across. You're going to go down. So make that Play-Doh shape going down. Make another snake. Down. Let's do that top across. And then that middle across. So we have our uppercase F. Let's do our lowercase f. So you're going to start at that hook, and you're going to hook it around. So just grab one big piece of Play-Doh, roll it out so it's long, start at the top, bring it down, and then you're going to go middle across. So we have our upper and lowercase f. You can keep going with as many letters as you want. I just wanted to show you with those three. We already did A, B, C. And now we're doing E. And then we do D, E, F. And then maybe next week we'll do the next three letters. So quick and simple. I love using Play-Doh. And after even doing this, you can just, like I said, it's really good to really squish it and get your fine motor skills stronger. So you can hold scissors better and write your name better and all that fun stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this learning about bees and doing this alphabet activity, and I will see you tomorrow for Craft Wednesday.